Hello, this is Christy with Cottage Grove Quilt Company. I want to thank you today for joining us for the second unit of our Hope Quilt Along. So this is the block that we are constructing in our quilt along, so you can see what the finished block looks like. Is that not gorgeous? That is just gorgeous. This is what you're going to be working on. So for week one, you constructed these corner beam units right here, up here, down here, and off. And you know, it's backwards right there. That's the units you constructed this first week. Now this week you're going to construct these diamond rectangle units. Those are very important. So you will construct the diamond rectangles. And there's a little trick to them this week. You've got two different colors for the setting triangles. You've got the fabric that you're going to use for your outer border and some of your piecing. And then you've also got the first background. I can manage to figure out which way to go. There we go. That's the first background, number one. And then this is for your outer border and your binding fabric. Okay? So you've got two different colors on that. So that's going to be the little trick that we're going to talk about this week. But first, let's go over the lesson plan for this week. Okay? So here we go. Oops. 2, 1. There we go. All right, so looking at this week's lesson plan, you can see, again, we're making this diamond rectangle. We've got two different shades of our triangles. The background colors we used for the corner beam, and then this other purple that we are using in our outer border. Okay, so you also, again, are going to make 72 of these. They will measure 2.5 by 4.5 inches cut size. Finished, once they're inside your block, they'll be 2 by 4 inches. All right, so remember, cut size is 2.5 by 4.5. All right, now this link right here is real important. This is going to give you the 8.5 by 11 version of the same instructions that you get with your tool, the Diamond Rectangle. So I'm going to pull those up on our screen, and we're just going to walk through that. All right, so this is kind of giving you the outline of the tool and what we're using it for. So on this side over here, this left side, is what we're using to cut our triangles. Over on the right side, right here, that is what we're doing for our trim down, and also the same one is used for doing our side triangles, getting the trim line for our side triangles. All right. So that's a little bit on how that is constructed, that tool, a little bit about it. Now again, we're doing 2 by 4 inches, so your strips for your diamonds, we said in our directions to cut it 2.5 inches. You can cut it as narrow as 2 1/8, but I'd rather trim a little bit off and do 2.5. All right. And then for your side triangles, you're going to cut 3-inch strips and then cut those strips into 2 1/4 by 3-inch rectangles. All right, so now it's going to go through and walk you through step by step how to cut the diamond, you know, and how to lay your fabric, how to place it, how to make your first cut, and then so on. So let me give you a little demonstration on how to do that. All right, so we have our fabric. Now again, I have mine layered 4 deep, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this strip right along the edge and make sure all 4 sides are lined up, all the edges are lined up correctly. And we're going to lay this on here, and you can see we've got the bottom edge right here of 2.5 inch wide strip right there. And then I'm in far enough that I shouldn't hit my selvage, but let's just go over just a little bit more to be sure. So I'm going to cut up, slide that off to the right, and over. Now again, I am right-handed. Your instructions do go into detail on left-hand cutting. Now I'm going to take this first one and rotate it. I only have to do this with the very first one because of it having this extra over here. Okay. So slide that little dust off, and there is our set of diamonds. Now when I slide this piece over here, I just bring my tool back up, and I have the bottom edge here and the line there for my diagonal. Cut up, slide this over, and then cut across. And then I keep doing that all the way across my strip, and that's how I make my diamonds. All right. So again, my instruction sheet goes through how to do the diamonds, and that is very important that you get that precisely cut. That is very important. Now for the side triangles, again, my instruction sheet is going to go through and give me step-by-step instructions, but what I have done is I have constructed these 2 1/4 by 3 inch rectangle squares. And you do this out of 2 colorways, all right? And you're going to need 72 rectangles, and that will give you the number of pairs you need. And then what I do is I bring my tool up, and there is a straight line right here. See this straight line right here? We are going to line that up right on the edge here. And it's got 2 1/4 by 3 inch rectangle. Check. That's what we're doing. And then we just cut this apart. And now I've cut my side triangles, or side rectangles I should say. My side rectangles. So next I'm ready to start constructing my units. Okay, so that is the next thing we do, is start constructing our units. And now let's go through step by step how to do this. Now this block here can present an angle challenge. So if you are angly challenged, which I tend to be, and that's not a problem, I'm just giving you a heads up. If you are angly challenged, it's very, very, very important you lay this out very precisely, okay? Because once we've done this cutting with our tool, the last thing we want to do is mess up sewing. So let's go back over here to the cutting and look at how we lay this out. So I have my diamond rectangle, right, or my diamond. Now I'm going to add my sides. So be sure we have these 2 like this, and this one goes here, and this one goes here. All right. Now I laid out all 72 of mine in a stack. I had my 72 greens, my 72 of my right top, my 72 of my left top, 72 of my bottom, and 72 of my right bottom. Okay, so there you go. That is laid out. Now I'm ready to stitch. So what I do is, just to pull these out of the way so we can go to the next step, is I lay this on here. And you know, we don't have to do a precise measurement, but I make sure that I have a little bit of overhang off of each side. See how I have a little bit of overhang off of each side. And then from that, then I stitch just like that. And what it looks like is this. And then we're going to press that side rectangle off towards that side rectangle. We're pressing that direction. All right. Now, just like if you were doing a squared squared, you're going to add the top left and the lower right first. And once you have those added and set, you're good. Then you come back and then you add your upper right and your lower left. Okay? And you add them opposite. Don't think of this as a log cabinish. It's not like that. You're doing opposite edges of the rectangle. That's very important. So once I have that, now I'm doing the other side. All right, now I've stitched those up, and this is what my piece looks like. And you can see it's a little rough, but that's okay. Now we're going to trim it down. So since we're doing 2 by 4, I have to look for this X right here at the 2 by 4 line. And we can see when I lay this on here, X is there, X is there, X is there, and X is there. Now, if you find you're a little off here on your seams, don't sweat it. Nobody's going to come along with a mirror and check it, or a magnifying glass and check it out. But be sure you check your seam allowances if you find that is a consistent problem. This is one tool that you have to use, a accurate 1/4 inch seam. Right, so now I did my right and up. Now I'm going to take this and rotate it. And again, I have a cleanup line over here for 2.5 by 4.5. Line my X's all up. Go up and over. So let's do that again so you can see it again. So we're going to line this up. Look at how pretty that is. Doesn't that look great? That looks really yummy. Looks really good. And again, if you find you're off any on your seams, really do check your seam allowance. Because if you have cut your diamonds precisely correct and you have an accurate seam allowance, it should come out to where everything lines up. Okay. Look at that. So this week's assignment is that you are going to make 72 of those. I know you're sitting here going, Christy, last week it was 72. This week it's 72. Next week it's only 18. Okay? So it's just getting this block put together. There's 4 of these in each of the blocks. So there's 18 blocks. So 18 times 4 is 72. So this is what you're going to be constructing in the end. Isn't that block gorgeous? Just gorgeous. Love it. All right, so good luck. If you have any questions, drop it in our Facebook group chat. We have several of the shop team monitoring that Facebook page. If you email me directly, depending on my schedule, I may or may not answer it right away, but if you post in the Facebook group, somebody will respond fairly quickly. So use that Facebook group. Come on. All right, you guys have a great day and enjoy this week's challenge. All right, bye-bye.